And I'm cheesing my way back to you, Van. All right, Packer section.
with a fucking wet, melted, wet floor sign of cheese.
It was garbage.
It started out bad, got worse, right? It started out, Ted Thompson passes away, 68 years old.
That was
Ted
bad.
Thompson
That was a bad
brought
start.
us to Super Bowl 45, drafted Aaron Rodgers, all that stuff. And there's one thing he said.
It's the 10-year anniversary of our Super Bowl, isn't
Oh, wait, he said when he drafted Aaron Rodgers, he said, "This is the kind of thing that 5 years from now, people are going to say was a pretty good decision."
it? That is the understatement of a career.
It's wild, but he's had health issues for a while. When he stepped down in 20, I mean, all of 2017, people were questioning like, can he really do this? But he was a very private guy. Didn't ever very quiet, private. Didn't only spoke to the media when he had to, kind of stuff like that, and didn't really tell people how he was doing um, with his medical conditions. So um, I don't know. It's just sad. It's a big loss. It's a really big loss.
Yeah, I agree.
So it started off with that. Then shortly after, Hank Aaron died. Wrong sport, but big Wisconsin sports hero.
Yeah.
Hammer and Hank.
Yeah, that was
Um,
that was super sad too.
my hopes got a little bit up because we brought Tremont Williams back. He was playing on the Ravens in the playoff, played in the playoff game for the Ravens. He was playing like 60% of their snaps. Brought him back. I was like, oh shit, we signed him to the practice squad. Day before the game, active roster. And I was like, I'm about to see Tremont Williams back in action again. And then we just fucking lost.
Yeah, I mean we talked about this on during the news this week. I mean, Kevin King single-handedly handed half the points
He,
over.
he did his best Ladarius Gunter impersonation.
He was burned on every pass play. And if Tampa Bay had a better quarterback, they would have quadrupled the points they had.
Yeah. I mean, Brady played like shit. He threw three interceptions. He had like a 73.1 passer rating. It was not good. Rodgers had 101 something. He didn't look good at all. In the first half, he was like 50% of his completions, and he had
In the,
one long ass pass.
but I mean, in the
And
first
that
half,
long ass pass, he floated it up there too. And
I mean,
Kevin King, I'm sorry, it's the end of the first half. 6 seconds left. What is your number one job?
keep him out of the end zone. Keep him
Don't
out of the
let
end
him
zone.
get behind you. First off, the fuck are we playing man coverage for?
I don't know. That was a big. I mean, I was like,
That was the biggest fuck up.
I
And then you
was,
see
I was like, is Dom Capers calling the defense again? The
well,
fuck
so
happened?
that ball is like, it's obviously like going towards those guys as they're running towards the end zone. And I swear to God, Kevin King let up a little bit. Did you see that? He like slowed up a little bit. And I'm
I don't
like,
know. I don't know about that.
I mean, if he signs with the Buccaneers in this offseason, I wouldn't be surprised. Motherfucker.
They're gonna give him what, like a replica ring,
But here's the thing. He got fucking smoked the entire first half.
the whole half.
Why don't you let him go ahead and stay in the locker room at half? Like he
I mean,
gets up to he gets up to like put his helmet on and walk out in the field like no. But why don't you just sit down? Just
I mean, that's a
stay
good.
here.
It's a good shot to bring in Tremont there.
That's
Kevin.
what I say. Tremont's only a year removed from the system. He is obviously familiar with Mike Pettine's defense.
Yeah,
He's familiar with the Packers in general. He's been playing this shit for a long time. He's like 38. Anything was better than Kevin King there.
I mean, nothing could have been worse. I could not imagine a worse situation there. It was
I
a
mean,
fucking problem.
but honestly, you know, so we took the deferred and took the ball in the second half. The point of that is to try and double up. You score before halftime and then score after halftime. You double up, but we got doubled up on.
Yeah,
Right, the Buccaneers have that late touchdown, and then we have a fumble to give the Buccaneers the ball on the 10-yard line right after half.
yeah. And
And
then Aaron.
so,
I mean, and Aaron Jones gets hurt on that play.
yeah, I didn't know if he was hurt or embarrassed.
I mean, he looked like
Probably
he
a little bit
wasn't.
of both.
I mean, both players I think got hurt. Like the dude making the tackle also I think got hurt.
It's just, I mean, our defense looked bad from the get go. Honestly, we couldn't stop on third down. Um,
In the first half, third down. I mean, the whole game, but really in the first half, it was impossible. I mean, they had 3 third down conversions on the way to that first touchdown.
but
At
you know,
least three.
if you look at it though, the defense honestly, the run defense was stout. Minus that one Leonard Fournette run, minus that one touchdown run, our run defense was fucking stout.
It was good. It was a good
That was
front.
honestly that was my one concern for the game was our run defense.
Nope, need to be worried about Kevin King, I'm afraid.
We need to be worried about Kevin King.
I mean, that was it.
I mean, it really was defensively. Um, him and Shannon Sullivan, but Shannon Sullivan seemed to bring it back in, or maybe he just, I don't know, maybe he was just throwing the ball to Kevin King's side every fucking time after that. But
Yeah, because he was so fucking open. He could not keep up with anybody. I mean,
and
Sullivan is not awesome.
I mean,
He's okay.
what did we say? Yeah, okay. The second half, the defense turns on and picks off Brady 3 times in a row.
I mean, that's because he threw it to Jair's side.
But you know what happened after that? Nothing.
Yeah,
We turned 3 picks into 6 points.
I mean, did we? I thought all of them turned into 3 and outs.
6 points.
The first 2 were 3 and outs.
We got 6 points out of the whole deal.
I don't know that we did, Van.
We did.
I'm gonna do.
But can I say offensively? I mean, the Packers MVP. You're not going to believe this. The MVP for the Packers the entire game was MVS.
He had a big game, actually.
That kid didn't drop a single ball. He played.
He avoided incompletions.
He avoided incompletions the entire game. Had some big catches, like lengthwise, and also had some big catches just conversion wise. You know,
yeah, he did.
He's good up and coming. He's gonna need more time to develop and everything. But it took until the second half of the offense to get in a groove. Really, I don't know, man. Billy Turner was getting burned. And TJ Lang actually tweeted this out today. This was the first game where we really missed our starting left tackle. This is the first game where you really missed Dave Bakhtiari being out.
Yeah.
Billy Turner was not having a good time with JPP.
They had Dominican Sue was getting pressure.
He's a fucking cheater too.
I mean, he was doing it though. He just really was. That's the problem. He was doing it.
I mean, and man, so Rodgers and dude, I don't know. And then there's so many I don't knows, right? Like,
but let's just talk about the one thing we talked about: coaching cowardice. This is in my opinion, it's the most grievous thing in the play because I know for sure that Kevin King was playing his hardest. So I'm like, I'm not gonna get like. Am I disappointed? Yes. Did I think he played his hardest? Yeah. I did he make
wasn't good enough. It wasn't smart enough. It was whatever it was.
It was just whatever it was. It wasn't his day. But we're the Packers. We are known for converting on 4th downs, going for it. We had more 4th down within the 10-yard line in the regular season. We had more
in the red zone.
We had more touchdowns on 4th down inside the 10-yard line than field goals in the regular season. And in the biggest game of the season, the one to stamp the ticket to the Super Bowl, the coaches, Matt LaFleur, they decide at 4th and 8 that we're down 8. They're going to kick a field goal with 2 fucking minutes on the board.
Well,
207 or 205.
One of the bigger problems is that wasn't the first time. It wasn't a unique situation. We'd had the ball inside the 10-yard line twice in that game, and we didn't run the ball one time. And we were running the ball like 6 yards a clip, man. Like Jamal Williams and literally A.J. Dillon was literally carrying people on his back. Didn't run the ball once. Not even once.
Not even once. And we had a chance to scramble in on 3rd down there at the end of the game.
So I don't think Rodgers was making that. I think he was halfway there.
This is what he gets there. And this is the play with your whole season on the line that you let. Like, I agree with you. If Rodgers slides, he doesn't make it. If he's going to,
I don't think he makes it at all.
If Rodgers takes the hit, he gets in the end zone.
I don't think so either way. But regardless, I've talked this to death, and you and I talked this to death yesterday. This is basically the same conversation we had last night. We're just having it in front of a camera now. Like,
how do you, I mean? It's
in the post game conference. Rodgers that the third down play was Rodgers to call. LaFleur told him, call that play. Rodgers said, what about the field? They asked him about the field goal. He said, that wasn't my call. He said, I would have called something different on third down had I known we were taking a field goal on fourth and not going for it on fourth. But Rodgers got tunnel vision towards Adams.
Twice,
On the
times.
first, yeah. Now, granted, the first one that Adams hits him in the hands, he catches that 99 times out of 100. Right?
Yeah.
That's touchdown 99 times out of 100. Man,
it's just a game where
it's a thing
you
of
lose. I mean, look, you lose 4 points on Adams dropping that ball.
Yeah.
Because we end up picking up 3, not ballsy enough to go for it, and it's early in the game, so I'm like, okay, fine. It's fine, I guess. And then you have Kevin King give up 7 right at the end of the second quarter. I mean, the way the actual time management of that sequence from Tampa Bay is not that good because we just have to tackle them anywhere in bounds. We have to guard. We have to have a deep shell and sideline protection, and that is it. And you can honestly give up the sideline play because it's only 3 points.
Yep. Yeah, I know this. You know this. We aren't getting paid millions to do this.
So we lose 4 points off of the drop by Adams, a play that 99 out of 100 times he catches. We give up 7 points when honestly it probably ends up 0 if it's completed anywhere else on the field outside of the end zone.
Or 3, fine, whatever.
I mean, with what they have 6 seconds, I don't even think they end up with a field goal.
I don't know if they had timeouts or not. I don't remember.
They had no timeouts on that play. No timeouts. They had called their last timeout to run that play. Because they had because remember they had 2 and they were going to punt and they called a timeout, changed their mind, went for it on 4th, and then they used their last timeout to then run that bomb. They had no timeouts left. There's like 6 seconds on the clock. No timeouts. So they're either bombing or trying to get to the sideline, and basically just got to avoid the bomb. But anyway, give up 7 there, 4 on 8. I mean, that's 11 points already.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, at the end of the third quarter, end of the fourth quarter, 2 minutes left, we go for that field goal. And we talked it to death already about the play beforehand. But I don't understand taking the field. I mean, I understand taking the field goal, but I don't understand not playing aggressive. I understand our defense had made 3 stops in a row, right? That's good to hang your hat on. But 2 minutes left, you're down 8. Let's say you go for it, 2-point conversion, you get it, great, you're tied. If you miss 2-point conversion, you gotta stop them anyways. Now it's a field goal game.
And it's only a field goal.
You go for it and you miss it, touchdown completely. Now they got to go 92 yards to get anywhere. You hopefully stop them and make them punt, and now you got a short field.
And you're on the right side of the 2-minute warning.
And you got a short field. You take the field goal and then kick off, like full-ass kickoff.
And they had a decent return. I think they got to the 30,
the 30 or
35.
40 or something. And now you're giving them a shorter field. And
I mean, to me, I don't understand how you look at the clock, see 2 minutes left, you're down by 1 score, so you kick a field goal so that you're down by, you guessed it, 1 score. And not a field goal.
It's still the same score.
Touchdown.
It's still the same score. I saw a pretty good meme. It was like the Scooby-Doo thing, right? And it's the part where he pulls the mask off, like, aha, I knew it was you. And it's Matt LaFleur. They pull it off. It's Mike McCarthy underneath. I don't know, man. And you and I mean, before the game, we said 2 things needed to happen. I said 2 things needed to happen. Take care of the ball.
Yep.
We had a couple of costly turnovers.
We did. And
do what you did that got you here. You know what we didn't do? Run the fucking ball. And you know what happened in every single loss this year? LaFleur has said, I abandoned my game plan too early. I abandoned the run too early.
Yeah.
Guess what he did again?
We did that. I mean, it was like, I said that in the fourth quarter. We came out, we were down by 1 fucking score.
And got the ball. AJ Dillon and Jamal Williams were tearing it up.
They were tearing it up. And we forgot it was like, we got the ball back 15 minutes on the clock. And it's like, we're going to pass every down.
Pass. I don't know, man. I don't know how much of that Rodgers is allowed to call. I don't know how much of whatever, but um, we were talking about it last year was an embarrassment. We were down like 27-0 last year.
It was a shit
The
show.
previous NFC Championship game in Atlanta, we got blown out too, not even close. This year was straight disappointment. 2014 was heartbreak in Seattle, but this was just disappointment, man. Like the Buccaneers didn't really win that game. We lost it for ourselves, and we haven't even gone into depth on this, man. The officiating was nothing short of fucking criminal, and I don't understand. You know, like it or not, that pass interference call at the very end of the game, it's obvious that Kevin King stretching the shirt. That's obvious, right? But the fact of the matter is that play. Oh, also, I didn't notice this until earlier today. Is Darius Smith was getting held in the
Yeah,
backfield in that play too. I didn't even notice that.
yeah.
Um, but the fact of the matter is, they didn't call the game that way the entire time. Alan Lazard had his fucking shoulder ripped off a couple times,
Yeah.
and they didn't call it.
On that one interception, it was like he was held.
It was
That was pass
obvious.
interference.
His
Yeah.
shoulder gets pulled back. It was obvious, and they didn't call it. That was just let him play.
Yeah, and it cost
and
us. I
and
mean, it cost us the ball.
yeah, and I think that turned into 7 points too. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Either
No,
way,
that turned into 7 points. They had 14 points off of turnovers. They scored on that interception that was a penalty,
in the
and
fumble.
they scored on the one where Aaron Jones gets hurt and
I
fumbles.
just like if you're gonna, and this is where my tinfoil hat comes out, right? But like if you're gonna call the game a certain way, be consistent. Don't wait until it's the fucking nth hour when the shit's you don't want. Granted, the game was not won or lost on that play. It didn't come down to one play. The game was lost by a bunch of bad decisions beforehand, culminating
I mean, I
poorly.
already told you
But
11 points that we gave up.
yeah, absolutely. So the game wasn't lost on that one penalty, but to have it be something that is so egregious at the very end is just mind blowing. And it was a late ass flag too. It was the guy like way the fuck in the other end zone that was like came sprinting in to throw the flag, and then it's just one of those things that this league is so fucking. And you're gonna laugh at me like I know you always will. It's so Brady centric, man. Like
Get
they
out
they
of
want
here.
they want to see Brady in the championship games. They keep writing this Brady is the best narrative, but look at the team he has around him, man. He didn't do this shit on his own.
No, he didn't. His team is. I mean, it's a solid
His team
team.
is stacked. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, AB,
I mean, he's
Gronk,
out. Gronk.
Leonard Fournette.
And Blake is not. I mean, he's been under the radar, but Blake is a solid tight end too.
I'm just saying, man. Everybody thinks that Brady came to Tampa Bay and did this shit on his own, but he
Well,
didn't.
Ronald Jones is also good. The other running back.
And their defense is fucking stacked. They got JPP, Ndamukong Suh, Vita Vea. They got those two fucking beast ass linebackers. Like, what are you talking about? I hate Brady so much, but
It's been well documented.
Man, it was such a disappointing end to the whole thing, and you know, in post game conference, Matt LaFleur the whole time looks like he's about to cry.
I mean, he looked like every other Packers fan.
And they asked someone asked about like, do you think Rodgers is your quarterback next year? And he says something like, he said he sure as hell better be. He said he is the heart and soul of this team. Like he sure as hell better be back here. Like you damn right he better be back here. Like he was getting fired up. Like he sure as hell come back. Like he got mad. And you go to Rodgers post game conference, and I hate watching it after we lose. Rodgers gets like, if you ever watch his conferences after we lose, he gets his head down and starts like picking at his fingernails and shit, and like just not really paying attention. Kind of just brooding. And he started saying some things that it's true, right? No one knows what the roster is going to look like next year. A couple of guys are getting old. No one's getting any younger. He's talking about guys like Mason Crosby and Mercedes Lewis and him. And he said, I don't know what the roster looks like for those guys. He said, I don't know what it looks like for me. A lot of uncertainty coming on. He said, I got to take a couple weeks, stew on this, like get away from it for a little bit. And when he said that, man, I had a flashback to like 2000, 2006 Brett Favre when he started the retirement carousel. I got to get on my lawnmower in Kill, Mississippi and just go ride it out and see what happens. And I got a flash of that and I was like, oh,
I mean, that's the age he is, man. He's 37, going to be 38 for next season.
yeah, honestly. And obviously it was raw. We had just lost, obviously. But there wasn't, I didn't get any fire from him as to like, I'm going to come out here and do this again next year. It sounded like he basically sounded like, I'm getting too old for this shit, man. It sounded like he was thinking to himself, like, this was it.
I think everybody on the Packers, I mean, we've read that article from Robert Tunyon. Like everybody on this team really believed that this was just like everyone had pushed themselves to the limit. Everybody believed in this team. Everybody was playing better than they ever had, and it just wasn't enough. And I think when you have to confront that demon, it's scary, and especially when you're no longer in what will be considered the prime years of your career. It's not to say that Aaron Rodgers isn't an excellent quarterback. He's way above average. He's an excellent
It's the
elite
greatest of all time.
quarterback.
What are you talking about?
I mean, yeah, but he is the greatest of all time, but is he currently actively the greatest quarterback in the NFL? That's that's
I
an
mean, he
easy
had the
no.
greatest season of any of the quarterbacks in the NFL.
That I mean statistically yes, but like I don't know. I like he's my
I
quarterback.
don't know, man. You got the ball 2 minutes left. Whose hand are you going to put it in? What quarterback in the NFL would you rather put it in his hands?
I mean,
Mahomes. So are you going to say Mahomes?
don't make me answer that, man. There's more than one.
No, no. Fine, fine. Take Rodgers. Drop him in Kansas City. Is the answer Rodgers?
What do you mean? I don't
Remove
even understand
remove
that
the
question.
Packers wide receivers and everything else from it. Drop him in a more stacked team.
I'm not saying he's not good. That's not what I'm trying to say.
Anyways, it just you saying some things that brought me far flashbacks, and I didn't like it. And so now the question is, a lot of people are asking, and I'm asking, like, what's next, man? Like, what now? Because this is the first time in a long time where after this game was over, I was like, fuck, man, there's a long time until meeting football comes back.
Yeah.
Like we were talking September, dude. It is January.
Yeah.
And there isn't shit to be excited for until then.
I mean, that's what it is. That's where we are. I mean, we've got one game in February coming up, and that's it.
Not my Super Bowl. I don't care.
Get out of here with that, man.
So, but the question is, what's next, right? Because this team offensively had everything it needed, right? Okay, fine. Some bonehead play calling. LaFleur is still a young head coach, right?
Yeah.
He's got to learn to trust himself and stick with the run. Got to learn to trust himself more. So that offensive line is stacked. Wide receiving core is up and coming. Besides Devontae, he's excellent, obviously. But the wide receiving core showed that they're not to fuck around with, man. They're on their way up.
I mean,
We're
honestly,
gonna lose Aaron Jones, but Jamal Williams and AJ Dillon are fucking stacked
I
behind
mean,
him.
we still have to secure Williams. I mean, it's not a done deal.
I think that's a given that we're gonna keep him and get rid of Aaron Jones. Like Aaron Jones already turned down top 5 in the NFL money. So, and I think with Williams and Dillon, you get the same. Anyways, okay, so offensively, you're doing pretty fine, unless people
Yeah.
move or
I
whatever
mean,
else.
the only person I would say is St. Brown. I think it's time to upgrade him.
And you know what? Honestly, we tried to upgrade this offseason too with Devin Funchess, and he opted out. Tavon
Yeah.
Austin, he didn't. But where was he? Wasn't he supposed to catch some balls?
I don't know. I
And
didn't
then you
see it.
think too, like the return game, Tyler Irvin was hurt all year.
Yeah, it hurt us bad too.
That hurt us bad in the return game. But defensively, again, like you've got Jair, Darnell Savage, Adrian Amos. Christian Kirksey was playing pretty well. Chris Barnes is huge as an undrafted free agent.
Yeah,
I
he's
think he's
playing good.
undrafted.
He's playing
Playing
good
out of his
ball.
mind.
Playing good
Zadarius and
ball.
Preston and Kenny Clark, and you brought in Snacks Harrison. There's one glaring hole. and it's that one cornerback spot on the left.
Yeah.
So, but and people are calling for Pettin's head. Uh, but like, so anyways, last year in that embarrassing blowout, it was obvious. It was obvious. There were glaring holes, glaring problems. We didn't have a run defense. We didn't have, things we didn't have were obvious. This year, it's just what, what now, man? Like what?
I mean, if we can just, this is a matter. Personally, I think this is a matter of convincing everybody that it wasn't a waste, and we can do it. We can build it back bigger and better next year. That's Matt LaFleur's offseason objective. He's got to stem he's got to stem this, because I mean, two NFC Championship losses back to back. One where you get blown out, and one where you come in as the favorite, and basically, I mean, we made it a game at the end, but we basically got blown out despite the score.
I mean, a lot of people were a lot of people were turning it off at half,
Yeah,
or shortly after half, they were turning it off.
yeah. After that score, I mean, after that fumble by Aaron Jones that turns into a touchdown, the game was like basically over in the early minutes of the third quarter, and
Felt that way.
we rallied back and got a shot at it. But like, it's 2 years in a row. 1 year we come in the underdog, 1 year where we come in as the favorite, and it's the same outcome.
But at the same time, in the last 11 years, the Packers have gone to the NFC Championship game more than anybody else in the NFC.
It's fair. I mean, it's fair.
The next closest is the 49ers with 4. We've been there 5 times. So, and everybody says, well, Rodgers is 1-4 in NFC Championship games. Like, correction, it's a team sport. The Packers are 1-4 in NFC Championship games. And last year, obviously the offense didn't put points on the board, but the defense couldn't do a damn thing. And this year, the offense put points on the board.
Yeah.
The defense couldn't do it. Kevin King couldn't do a damn thing. So it. But I guess that's what it comes down to, being the face of the franchise. You get pegged with all the wins and losses. So
this is just. I really think that Matt LaFleur is going to deal with convincing people. This is going to be all about the feeling. This is about getting the right feeling, getting the right emotion.
We're fucking spoiled fans, though, dude. Everybody likes to bitch and cry about how we wasted Rodgers and Favre's career, but do you know how hard it is to get to the Super Bowl to begin with?
I mean,
it's fucking hard. Clearly, most teams don't do it every year.
I mean, you're not wrong. Vikings, one out of 16 teams makes it. That's it.
On your side, yeah. So, yeah, it's just.
Well, it's 1 out of 16 out of the league, 2 out of 32.
Fine, whatever. But I mean, ask the Browns, ask the Lions, ask like all these teams that have never fucking been, and it's hard to get there. So the question is, us being spoiled as Packers fans, would you rather maintain a high level of success and never get there, make that last jump, or would you rather sell out for 1 year of championship and then dwell in mediocrity? And honestly, for me, I'd rather be consistently good and not make it.
I mean, here's how I answer that. You have to coach that way. You have to plan that way. You have to do personnel that way. Because 9 times out of 10, trying to build a fantasy roster just explodes.
Yeah.
It fucks up everything for a decade. So
and that's why we don't do that. And that's why we're consistently good.
So I think, yes, you have to coach that way. But from an outcome, like if I could choose to like not even make the playoffs but win the Super Bowl twice in a decade, or even once in a decade, I don't know, man. Like if I could be 5-11 most of the time, and then get 2 Super Bowls a decade, I would be
mad. I'd be mad. I would be mad for 8 years.
I don't know, man. You gotta do. I mean, because there's just no guarantees.
I know. Ask the fucking Browns. Ask the Bills. The Bills went 4 times in a row and lost 4 times. They made the Super Bowl 4 times in a row and lost 4 times in a row. There's no, and that's my whole thing, is that it is so hard in this league to even win enough games to go to the playoffs that we're fucking spoiled. And we're just whining about the fact we've got two of the best quarterbacks of all time and we haven't won 17 Super Bowls. Like, we got the two best quarterbacks of all time, not two best. We don't have the best teams. It's a team sport. It takes a team to get to the Super Bowl. I just like, man, I just think we're spoiled, and I'm sick of hearing people like bitching and crying because I'm upset we didn't make it, but I'm also glad we've had sustained success our entire lifetimes. You and I have not known. I mean, we've had a couple bad seasons, but you and I have not known the 1970s, 1980s Packers.
No, it's true. It's definitely true. I don't know. I just feel like at this point I'm just trying to let it go so it stops hurting. If there's,
I mean, I'll say that this was disappointing, but I was also telling one of the guys at work today. There's only one football game, Packers game. I mean, obviously, playing football hurt different certain times, like the last game you lose ever, like last football game. But there's only been one Packer game besides when I was 8 years old and I cried my eyes out because I didn't know the Packers could lose the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 32. There's only been one Packer game in my adult life that made me angry for more than the rest of the evening. That actually ruined my days past that. The NFC Championship game in 2014. That onside kick. That like I texted our buddy John Blondie, and I texted him in that game and said, "Where's the Super Bowl party?" And like 10 minutes later, stunned, heartbreak nation. That is the only game that has ever truly set me back some time of like, man, I'm fucking upset.
yeah,
Because at the end of the day, also, let's be real, it's a fucking game. It's a great
and
distraction from the bullshit going on in the world.
we don't play in the game.
We don't play in the game. People say to me at work, "What happened, man?" I say, "I don't know. I was watching. I was sitting there watching on my couch. Like, what the fuck you want me to do? Like, hey, man, your Packers couldn't do it. Yeah, they didn't call me up to see if I wanted to call plays today. I don't know. I was just watching on my couch today. Like, what do you want me to do, man? But you know, as much as we're whining and complaining about the Packers didn't make the Super Bowl, it, can, there's a pandemic running rampant. There's just unrest all in the world, and we're upset about a game. So, like, you know, put it all in perspective a little bit too. You know, it just
Yeah, I mean you got to keep it in perspective. It's
it
just
was a
gotta
good
let it go.
ride.
It's a good
It was
ride.
definitely a good ride, and
Yeah,
it was nice to see a lot of young players, um, you know, get their comeuppances and really turn it around. And nice to see Rogers have a career year. Um, and I'm sure he'll get his due on February 6th with the AP MVP award, which I would trade a Super Bowl for that in a heartbeat. Um, you know, it was a fun year. It was a fun ride.
I don't know if that's the proper use of comeuppance.
I don't think it was, but it was just there.
I, I
It's
just
not.
googled it and it says a punishment or fate that someone deserves.
I meant the opposite of that actually. We had a lot of guys that were flourishing, making that second year leap. Second year in the Flourish program, it looked really good. Our offense looked very sharp a lot of time. Most of the time, Devontae Adams had an obviously historic year. Rogers had a historic year. Um, you know, our running backs looked good. Best offensive line I've ever seen play. Jair cements himself as a true lockdown corner.
Yeah,
Darnell Savage and Adrian Amos played excellent. Zadarius Smith plays excellent. Kenny Clark turned on at the end of the season.
yeah, I did.
Chris Barnes, you know, fairy tale, not Cinderella kind of story, you know. Um, I just we need a new punter. I think that's
I
become
mean,
more and
you
more
missing Rashawn
obvious.
Gary in that list.
Rashawn Gary, yeah. Oh my God, did he come on this year?
So good. And I
So
mean, Adrian Amos in the second half. I mean, he'd been playing at a high level, but in the second half of this season,
lights
he
out,
turned it on to
lights
just
out.
he found that next gear, and we didn't even know he had it.
So you know that's it's all stuff that's good to look forward to next year. But then, like I said, it's just what now? You know, the question: who are we going to lose? Who's because there's rumors too that the cap is going to go down next year,
Yeah, I've heard that.
and you're going to have a lot of big players not getting re-signed places because they can't afford them. So
I mean, the only
Um,
good thing is that it's true across the board for everyone. So maybe we'll find a way to make some things work.
I don't know, man. It's disappointing. There's a lot of question marks now with Rodgers, and maybe that's the thing that really gets me is there's no meaningful football until September. But now I have a whole another 7 months, 8 months of hearing people question where Rodgers is going, why Brady's the best of all time, what are the Packers doing on defense, what the fuck? It's all this bullshit. I don't like. I've already seen articles about here's the top five Rodgers landing spots, and I'm like, motherfucker, he still plays for us. What are you talking about? Like we just lost less than well now it's more than 24 hours ago. We lost 24 hours ago. Like what the fuck? Like
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think what is he gonna do? I don't know what else to tell you.
just
I
like
don't.
what I always say, I'm just gonna sit here on my couch and watch him be upset, and then
Yeah.
we'll talk about it on the internet in front of people that don't care.
I mean, I think that's the right way to end this. I think that's it.
See ya.